Hey guys, all right, Brett from Martial Arts again. Apologies, part 2 of the question and answer and channel martial arts topics video. Some of the guys might have been tuned in for part 1. Every time my phone rings or something, it just cuts out the stream. So let's go for part 2 and keep. What we were doing is reading through the comments on some of the videos on the channel, going through a bit of an explanation on what the topic was about. It was reminding us of some good stuff. A few of the guys popped up on the channel feed as well. Hopefully they'll find their way back or not. Well, probably won't do this for too long, maybe half an hour or something like that, because it's already done about half an hour, unless it gets killed by another mysterious phone call, which will be a pain. But that's all right. Okay, cool. So, so here's another video that was pretty popular by my channel standards. We had Shadiversity and his nunchuck video, where he said nunchucks were stupid, and it was a good video that he did. He covered absolutely everything. So Shadiversity and his nunchuck video, and I did a video response to his video. And Goat City says 6 days ago, a guy called Goat City says, barring guns, the only weapon a person is likely to come up against in the real world scenario that they couldn't easily run away from is a knife or a dagger. Apparently, in that respect, nunchucks seem like a pretty ideal defense if both people were roughly the same size and height. The person with the knife just wanted to rob or rape you. He wasn't looking for a fight where he didn't have real advantage. So yeah, that's the opinion of Goat City. Interesting comment. Perhaps Goat City needs to think about other things in life, like if you're a soldier, if you're in the police, you know, there's other scenarios where you might come up against weapons. Barring guns, the only weapon that they couldn't easily run away from. Well, you can't always run away, that's the problem. In a self-defense situation, sometimes you can't run away. And also, from a job point of view, for emergency services and stuff, sometimes you don't have the option of running away. Oh, look at this hair. And you have to deal with whatever it is in front of you. So no, you can't always run away. But yeah, nunchucks wouldn't qualify in that situation. But yeah, good comments from Goat City about the Shadiversity nunchuck video, the response that I did. So there's another good comment there. And once again, guys, if anyone wants to chuck a question or say anything, just chuck it up there. Refer us to anything. We've already seen about some wobble machine. Wobbles, that was interesting. And not to be mistaken with shake weights, which are different things. Okay, so here's a comment on an old one. So the old video of mine, AT, show us some Phoenix Eye fist applications. Phoenix Eye, good old Phoenix Eye. Phoenix Eye, yes. Well, it's funny. There's an old Irish boxer. Irish, yes, AT says. Bartley Gorman. There's a channel here that covers him, but I found out about him years ago because I read his book, Bare Knuckle, King of the Gypsies. So when people talk about the different kinds of fists that you can form with your hand, it's funny because this guy was I think he was in the 60s and 70s. He was a bare knuckle gypsy boxer, and he was one of the best. And there's a part in his book, and you can also find it on the YouTube channel that covers it, but I actually read the original book years ago. But there's parts of his book where he talks about different fists that he uses to hurt people in different ways. And he mentions a fist. Obviously, he doesn't know the martial arts terminology for them. It doesn't matter. But he mentions a fist similar to the Phoenix Eye with extended knuckles, and he said he used to use those to strike people in the eyes and in the ears and things like that. So for AT, there's an application of Phoenix Eye fist. It's usually to strike into like a softer target area and dig in. Yeah, but again, it's something that needs to be trained a lot to make it effective. But things like punching for the face and getting an eye into the neck and into any other muscle joint areas for striking. Yeah, muscle targets. Yeah. So that's pretty much applications for Phoenix Eye. They're endless. And also, if you're on the ground, someone's on top of you, where with a fist you can't. So because I got a chance to sort of think about these and practice these when doing BJJ training. But when you're on the ground and you can't get a lot of leverage with anything, for instance, and someone's on top of you trying to ground and pound you, a nice Phoenix Eye fist strike into the eye and the face. Even if it's not with a lot of wind-up, can cause a lot of damage, as well as can directional strikes, a lot of different kind of pain with raking strikes, and pressing strikes, rather than just everyone thinks strike. AT says again, it's effective with less force than a normal punch because normal punches usually land flat-fisted. Yes, well, as we know, pressure is force divided by area. Yeah, so smaller area, more pressure. Yeah, or is it force times area? No, pressure divided. Yeah, pressure is force divided by area. So yes, so more force. If I got that right. Yeah. Anyway, more force. Yeah, and more pressure. Bang, in a little target. Go away, bloody iCloud bullshit on my thing. All right, which also goes with the training of the fists. So when you're training these different fists, you can do press ups on them and just hold them. Like you don't have to press up on them because the pressure's all you need. So you just do hold them on the ground. Do press ups if you want, slowly, or hold, pressing up on the knuckles, pressing up on these bones here. And again, the pressure will train the bones very nicely. Okay, excellent. So back onto the Bruce Lee video, because we were covering the Bruce Lee story that I did a bit like a long live stream about. I wanted to make a video about it that would be more accessible to everyone, but I just wanted to get, I found out about it and I just wanted to get on here and get my natural reaction out there. And then it ended up turning into a really long video, but it's called Bruce Lee's Shocking Drug Use, The Day Legacy Dies. And a lot of people have got that video a bit wrong. It's a big long chat. Thank you for the thumbs up, my friends. It's a big long chat video about me as a martial arts and Bruce Lee fan, but not a Bruce Lee fanboy, someone who's inspired by Bruce Lee, receiving the news that he did something that I just didn't think he did. Maybe it's because I was a kid back then, I didn't realize. There's lots of people who are older back then, maybe they knew or but I didn't know. So we've had a couple of comments about that. So Christopher McIntyre says here on that video, Chris McIntyre, he says the saddest thing is that he appears to have been so addicted that he was using his butler as a mule to bring the drugs into Hong Kong. I don't know where Chris has found out this advice from. I don't even think the butler was told what it was being involved in. Another idol turned to clay. If these letters are real, then the reason why the letters have been kept quiet by the family is because his wife, Linda, according to the letters, would have been totally aware of Bruce's habits and was actively aware of Bruce and Baker's plans for smuggling drugs into Hong Kong. If these letters are genuine, that means, go away, my computer's jammed. That means she also committed perjury during the inquest into his death when the insurance company asked if Bruce Lee was taking drugs at the time of his death, in which she answered no. P.S. His philandering has been known about for years. So that's his, messing around outside of his marriage. So there we go. People are people. They're not always who you think they are. Give that comment a heart. Actually, we'll give all the comments we've just covered a heart. I might go back on them and tell the guys that we've covered them in a live feed just so they know. they can watch and wait for their questions. Good questions, everyone. Got some questions popped up on the screen here, so we'll have a go at those. Yeah, if only you could just mass copy and paste an awesome answer like that, because that would be good. Like if you could click like 5 videos and then you could just put an answer like, covered this in the live feed, then the guys would be able to see it. Okay, got a question on here. AT says, here is Pak-Mei Kung Fu that I think is amazing. Here is. He used a lot of Phoenix Eye and Leopard Fists. I don't know. You should check out Monkey Kung Fu Master Jing Yushan on IG. He's legit. Yes, I already know Master Jing Yushan, or I know of him. I've contacted him a number of times, requesting to be a student of his, a disciple. So yeah, over the last couple of years. But he's a busy man. My intention, I didn't contact him before, then I found out about him, and my intention was to actually go and visit him, because I've got a friend of mine who is a disciple of his. So yes, and he was telling me about the training, but I actually knew of him before then, and then this friend of mine who lives in Singapore now is training under his tutelage. I think he goes and sort of visits him. And then I was like, man, you know, I want to train, I'm going to come. And then COVID happened, and it just ballsed it all up. And then I forget his name wrong all the time. Jing Yushan, or I think Harun, as his, sorry if I said his name wrong, but that's his name, some kind, sorry sir, a name like that, Harun or something like that. Apologies, sir, don't want to get your name wrong. Forgive me for my ignorance. But yeah, then COVID happened, and yeah, couldn't go. But yeah, definitely check him out. He's a Monkey Door Fist. He's a I don't know what I think he's a German, but he's like a German. He looks kind of, I don't want to say Greek, but he looks kind of like he's got like an olive Mediterranean look about him. So I don't know where exactly he's from, but he is the absolute one of the real deals out there. True diamond fist, true real deep secrets of Kung Fu, and yeah, awesome guy. He's always on Instagram doing tea ceremonies. He's on Facebook. I follow him on Facebook. I don't get a lot of time to watch him these days because I'm busy a lot, but I catch in from time to time. Yeah, like I said, I have requested a number of times. I've sent him a few messages and notes saying I'm nobody, but I would like to, try and train with you online or something like that. But now, as you guys probably know, that what's the channel called? What's that guy, that Swedish lad? Varva Fitness. Is it Varva Fitness? So Varva Fitness and him are involved in a program, and obviously they've put the program out there. It's an awesome program. You can go and train and learn online and all the videos, but it's very, 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 very expensive. Now, I'm sure the knowledge is worth the money if you've got the money. Yeah, it's very valuable knowledge. But just for anyone, and I'm sure Mr. Harun or Jing Yushan, I'm pronouncing his name terribly wrong, I'm sure he would probably agree with this, is that the real secret is in the training. So if you do go and buy the courses and this and that and the next thing, there are training advices and ways. There aren't really any secrets. There's quite a few, but there's not any secrets as such that you're gonna know. Yeah, there's methodologies, but none of it is anything other than training. Yeah, so don't go spending your thousands of dollars and expect a few secrets are going to give you a shortcut, because the people you're learning those things from have spent have spent years, 25, 30 years training those things, and that's why they're that good. Yeah, so don't expect secrets, don't expect shortcuts. That's what you get. Anyway, we've trailed off on that one, but thank you for AT for that. He says, Fatsan Pakme on YouTube is another legit Kung Fu master I like to watch. Oh yeah, we can have a look at him. Oh, mind you, I can't navigate away from our page here. What is it? Fatsan, thanks for the thumbs up. Fatsan Pakme. Let's open another browser. Fatsan Pakme. And then we'll get on to a few more by Sifu John, is it? Cotton palm. Yes, I do know something about cotton palm and mantis indigo. Oh yeah, that looks cool. I do like Pakme. Again, a lot of Phoenix Eye fists in Pakme. Yes, so what have we got here? Mike Down says, I want to train martial arts. What should I do as a beginner? Mantis Indigo says, do you know anything about cotton palm? Hello, Mike. AT says, yes, Sifu John. I'll look at that, AT. Thank you. Mike Down. You're a beginner, Mike. Well, Mike, if you're an absolute beginner of martial arts, I guess it depends where you are and what you want to do. But if you can't do anything straight away, start training your fitness and toughness and endurance. Now, there's loads of videos online on all sorts of websites how to train those things. There's also a lot on my channel, but my channel is disorganized and it's hard to find. But fitness, if you train like militaristic style fitness, toughness, and endurance training programs, stuff like that. If you don't know any martial arts, that'll be cool. Mantis Indigo says cardio Mike, so he's saying that to Mike Down. Mantis Indigo said, do you know anything about cotton palm? So yeah, there's loads of channels. There's some awesome channels. And then if you go to MMA channels, you can get sort of fight-orientated conditioning exercises that will build your overall cardio, toughness, pressing, lifting, slam balls. So start doing those sorts of things. Yes, don't go to the gym and just start doing bench presses. It's not going to help you too much with fight training compared to doing that kind of, I suppose you could say, CrossFit style. It's not CrossFit style. It's just a mix where the body has to work all over. Yeah. So, but because it was Mike. But Mike, also, you might not be the biggest fan of all that cardio and fitness and endurance and training. That might not be your thing. Some of us just enjoy martial arts and we don't like the warm-up, we don't like this thing. So that's why you need to find out, what's the martial art for you? Is Aikido a martial art for you? Is Karate a martial art for you? Is a Kung Fu a martial art for you, or Wing Chun? But I would suggest probably these days, a good thing for you to do, it depends where you live maybe, or the area maybe you can say, or country, but the best thing for you to do would probably be these days to find some kind of MMA training gym if you want to train martial arts or something like that, or kickboxing or something like that, where you can start getting an idea of like some sparring, some stancing, and people who sort of wrestle. BJJ is a great one to do if you're not a fan of being super cardio fit. Go and do some BJJ. Wrestling is awesome, but that requires a bit more like physicality than BJJ in some ways. That's why wrestlers and BJJ guys do look a little bit different. So yeah, thumbs up there. But yeah, that was an awesome question by Mike. What martial arts should I train? We haven't really given him an answer, so sorry about that, Mike, but I'm sure some of the other guys can hit you up with what martial arts to train. But I don't know, Mike, if you say what sort of things you like or what you want to train, you can start training at home. There's lots of stuff online. It just really depends what you want, mate. If you don't know, I would suggest, just get yourself a boxing bag, set it up, because some people feel a bit shy and embarrassed to go to a club. One thing I'd always say is don't be shy and embarrassed. And if you go to a club that makes you shy and embarrassed, it's not the right club. You know, some clubs are tougher than others, but you know, if you are a bit shy and embarrassed about starting training, well, get yourself a boxing bag, you know, find a friend or whatever, or just on your own, and just, you know, start doing some punching and kicking. You know, you can go and watch so many videos online of how to punch it, how to kick. And those are things like everyone says, oh, don't do anything unless a master tells you. Well, look, if you've got a brain in between your freaking eyes, you don't need a master to tell you how to punch and kick better than some YouTube video can, because it's so good now, it's so clear, and we you know, people aren't idiots. So yeah, you can start those sorts of things easily, and they're so simple and basic. And then the different styles will stylize it for you. But I don't know, these days, one of the best advices is just to try and find like an MMA training club that does a whole variety of different martial arts, like they always seem to do. Not just MMA, they'll do like kickboxing, they'll do some boxing so you can work on your hands, they'll do BJJ, and those are some great martial arts to get into, or karate. You know, there's even things like taekwondo and stuff. If you're interested in kicking, you can go into the kung fu's and wing chun's and Shaolin. It really just depends what you're into, and also what you want from your martial arts. What do you want from your martial arts? Mike, what do you want? You know, because if you study a traditional art, I'm sure the guys will know here, you need to be prepared to invest a little bit more time for results and effort on the scale. But what you can also do is study a traditional art and also go to a more modern club. You know, like, I mean, I was training in an MMA club in Perth, but obviously I've always done martial arts for years. But then, you know, there I was doing some boxing and kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, and then sometimes in between that, the lessons, when they were doing the fight club, which they wouldn't let me in, because I was too new, I would just go and like beat the shit out of the big heavy bags with bare knuckles and bare shins and stuff. And I had my like beater, which I'd like hit my bones and hit my shins with. And then I'd go home and do my sand bucket shit and all that, and kung fu. So you can mix it all up. It's really up to you. These days, you don't have to confine your martial arts to a single thing. Just do freaking every martial art, Mike. Which is the worst answer I could probably give you. What martial art should I take up? Every martial art. How's that? Every single one. So a good question there. Back to poor old Mantis Indigo says, do you know anything about cotton palm? Yeah, look, Mantis Indigo, cotton palm is like a kung fu training method. There's lots of different training methods, but in essence, cotton palm is a kung fu training methodology to try and strike through like soft tissue and give like more internal penetration. So the way that people train that is you wrap something hard in something soft, or you put soft cloth and stuff like that of varying thicknesses on top of your striking bag. So it's a bit like a boxing bag. But for instance, if I had my iron palm bag on the table that I would usually strike, I put a cloth or towel or some cotton, like a pillow or something like that on top of it, and then I'm trying to strike into it and still get the force through. So that's why you usually strike something hard inside, like a coconut wrapped like in the middle of a pillow or something like that, or in lots of padding, and you're trying to strike in, and the idea is you're trying to learn how to strike through the muscle and like into this internal structure. And it's just another way of developing power. Lots of people will just focus on cotton palm and forget that it's one of many skills that you sort of need to train. So don't just do cotton palm, do all of them, like the 72 secret arts of the Shaolin. There's a skill, basically cotton palm, in the 72 secret arts of the Shaolin, and it's one of 72 skills, because including red sand palm, iron palm, palm of 5 poisons, and all the other skills that they do. But yeah, anyway, that's that one. So, I think there was another message here from Sensei Emmett. Hello, Sensei Emmett. Great channel for Sensei Emmett. He's managed to interview some awesome martial artists. Some amazing people. Benny the Jet Rodriguez, some awesome legends. I don't know how he does it. He's a legend. So yeah, Sensei Emmett, check out his channel. He did want to interview me as well, or does, or has also been asking me for a long time, which is very kind of him. But I don't believe I deserve a spot on his interview list of martial artists. Okay, so Sensei Emmett says, as a cop, what single piece of advice would you give for self-defense? Brett. Oh, mate, that's a good one. I'm careful and guarded with my self-defense advice. Okay, Sensei Emmett. My single most piece of self-defense advice for today is being cognizant or being aware of the reality of violence. Okay? Because a lot of people, thanks for the thumbs up, a lot of people train martial arts, but they don't like train their heart. Yeah, and you can do this in traditional martial arts, and you can do this in like modern MMA martial arts. But the biggest example I could give you is like going to an MMA club and just being thrust in there, or kickboxing or whatever, and having to just spar someone. You know, or not so, like you could say also with BJJ having to roll with someone, but that's also a bit like that. But there's something really visceral and violent and whatever about fists coming at you and kicks coming at you and someone grabbing you. But even those things only necessarily prepare you in stages for the reality of true violence. Yeah. So that is my piece of martial arts self-defense advice to people, and it's difficult to obtain. Like, how the hell do you do this? But you need to just be aware of it. That's all. You just need to be aware. Like, for all the martial artists and people out there, I'm not saying I am better than anyone else in that regard, but like, you know, Sensei Emmett asked me what's my single most piece of self-defense advice. My single most piece of self-defense advice is be aware of the reality of violence, of the physical rawness of it. Because a lot of people, there's people who don't know how to fight, who, if you attack them, will be like, you know, that must look funny. There's a famous video here in Australia where they took this old guy, and he's I think he's a meme now. He's talking about like these dogs that were barking, and his wife's talking. This is like live on the news, and they're like, oh, well, tell us what happened, sir. And this guy looks like he's worked in an office his whole life. Which is nothing wrong with that. And then he's talking and he goes, oh yeah, the dogs, they just went, he just throws this mental fit at the screen. And it's so funny. And he's become a meme. He's like famous now here in Australia because it just shocks everyone. His wife doesn't move. She just stands there and he's like this in her face. And it's so funny. But why I trailed off onto that is, like, that's what I mean, you know. Like, that guy just like some normal guy in an office, but he had inside him this kind of like rage. So that's what I mean. Like the rage inside the violence. Some people just aren't prepared for that. I know a lot of actual proper martial artists who, when they've had a real encounter with someone, they're defeated in here. And that's one thing, a lot of people diss traditional martial arts, but there's like jiu-jitsu and stuff. But a lot of those martial arts are still able to instill in you like the warrior feeling, you know, like this warrior heart or whatever you want to call it, this fighting spirit. You need to have that. And it needs to be like, for an example, it literally needs to be like a freaking tiger is a tiger, which is one of the reasons I have this tattoo here. It needs to be, it's silly, but it just needs to be like there's this tiger curled up inside you. And it's not necessarily angry, it's not necessarily friendly, but it's just like, leave me the fuck alone, or I will fucking tear your eyes out of your face. and I will crush your bones. Yeah? And that's literally, you have to, it's not nice, guys, but you literally, I'm not saying you have to freaking be as violent as this violent guy who's going to attack you, but when it comes to defending your family, your life, or whatever, you either live or die, you run or fight, and you have to be able to know what violence is. Anyway, like, I've trailed off now, and I'm talking crap. But an awesome question by Sensei Emmett, who basically asked, what is my number one, like, self-defense advice? And my number one self-defense advice was, understand the reality of violence before you get freaking shocked by it. Don't let the first time someone attacks you be, everyone's laughing. Don't let the first time someone attacks you be your downfall, because you weren't prepared to get violent when you needed to. Everyone's got that fight inside of them. If you don't have that fight inside of you, why are you doing martial arts? Because you won't be able to defend yourself with this calm, not in the real world. You won't be able to defend yourself with this calm, like, Aikido flow. I'm not saying you won't be able to use Aikido, because I've actually used a lot of locks from Aikido on people in real life, but you're not going to use them like this, or like Steven Seagal. There's a difference between being calm and being, and like aggressive, but being calm but sharp and focused, like fighters. When you see the guys in MMA, they're not all like, some of them are, but they're like focused and sharp, and they're ready, and they're, and that's how you have to be. So how can you do that? Well, the best way you can do that is go and, go to one of those clubs, where kickboxing club, where someone's actually punching you in the head and someone's actually kicking you. But know that that is not as violent as it gets. And it's not the same. Initially it will be. The problem is, humans, we're like adrenaline junkies. The first time, you guys will probably know, and then I'll get off this topic. The first time you guys might have sparred someone, you'd be like, oh, you're so scared, like, and then you spar them, and there might have even been someone who you're like terrified on, and then you get through them, blah, 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 and then you can beat them, and then you get to someone else, and, the first time you go into like a legitimate fight or something like that, like a ring fight, or for those guys who do ring fighting, people, everyone will say that, you're shaking, you're shivering, and sometimes when I'm going into like a situation, like if I'm going into a house or something like that, and I hear like so-and-so's meant to be armed, or so-and-so's meant to be this, and that's the problem with like in the real violence, because you're always not ready for what's coming. I'll literally be like shaking on a warm day, and I'm even thinking about it now, and shivering, and my friends will be looking at me, and they'll be like, what the hell, why are you shivering? But I'm shivering because the adrenaline's so high, and I'm just literally getting ready to just freaking tear everything, I don't, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how you need to be. I'm not saying you have to be that way if that's not your nature. Yuri Boka says you're a police officer. Yeah, I am. I've been one for 12 years. Yuri, my good man. Anyway, sorry, I've missed a lot of questions. So Sensei Emmett says, excellent, couldn't agree more, mate. And it would be an honor to have you on one of those niche within a nice guy. I love that. Yeah. Good old Sensei Emmett. Sensei Emmett, check out his channel. He's interviewed some awesome martial artists. Benny the Jet Rodriguez. How did he do it? I'm waiting for him to get like Chuck Norris and then Van Damme, and then he's completed. But some awesome martial artists. Lord Cloudex says, I think having the mental preparedness to inflict overwhelming violence upon an attacker is also important. Yes, that's it, Lord Cloudex. And that's kind of what we're talking about. But how do you prepare for that? I don't know, but there's a lot of ways. You train your MMA club, you this, you that, you get used to it. And then doing it isn't as shocking to your body. And then when someone actually comes at you, your adrenaline makes you faster, it makes you stronger, and your natural instincts make you more ferocious, usually, or you run away. One of the two. David, Yuri Boka says, what martial arts do you do? Yuri, traditional jiu-jitsu, karate, a couple of different styles of karate, kung fu, Shaolin kung fu for years, mainly the conditioning training side of things. I'm an owner of a few forms, but I'm not a big lover of forms. But yeah, Shaolin kung fu since the age of 13 or something like that. Yeah, and then more recently I was training in one of the local MMA clubs in Perth, or a fight club or whatever you call it, just doing like kickboxing, boxing, and jiu-jitsu, BJJ and stuff like that. So just a mixed bag of everything really over the years. Okay. Oh no, I don't want to make it small. Sensei Emmett says, thanks, thumbs up. Thank you guys. Once again, as I said on part 1, thanks for the guys who support the Patreon. And any of the guys who've gone on the Iron Body Martial Arts Iron Hand course, which is linked to here. But that's more Kung Fu and conditioning stuff. That's to condition your bones and your hands and your fists for striking and everything. Sensei Emmett says, in my experience in self-defense street situation, most fights don't last more than seconds, and you need to have your boundary and preemptiveness tank crossed. Yep, exactly. Well, just the other day we had a situation where we were trying to help someone out, deal with like a domestic situation. This guy was just kicking off, and he was threatening everyone, saying he was going to smash them if he didn't get to do this, didn't get to do that. And it looked like he was going to go and smash one of my mates. So I just sort of went in sort of to the side of him, grabbed him like this, boom, in a freaking bear hug, crinched his arms. I was just about to throw him over onto his back, but then one of my mates was like, no, he's holding a pram with a kid in it, because he was. And then I had to stop myself, which is difficult when you're just about to freaking slam someone. But yeah, gripped in. And then, it's just simple things in your mind then, because it's like these hands are waving and it's like, you're not going to be able to grab this guy's hands and try and do some kind of move or whatever. Not in these situations. It's just like, look, just contain the threat, boom, round the arms, use your strength, use your training, use your tendon strength. Round the arms. I'm not saying this is every situation, but this was this situation. Round the arms, lock the hands, crunch in goes the head, obviously, so he can't back headbutt me. Tuck one of my right legs into the back of his leg. I was just getting ready to throw him over. No, don't throw him over. He's holding a pram with a 3-year-old in. Okay, no, I'm not going to do that, but I'm still locked in. And he was whinging about his leg for some reason. I don't know why his leg was hurting, but it's probably just soft, because he was pretty soft. And yeah, just clamp in there. And I was quite happy in there. And then we, that's it. We managed to lock him down, So, and that was all right. David Hughes says, lol, totally correct. That was probably my crazy, thing that I did before, where I was just saying, how you'll smash someone. Mike Down says, thank you. I was telling, Mike asked before, cool question. He was like, I'm a beginner. What martial art should I do? And we were talking about that for ages. Mike says, thank you for the advice, and I will give it some thought into it. When you began martial arts, how was it like? Did it start like a challenge? Mantis Indigo says, groovy. Lord Cloud says, that's the first time, could be a last time too. Yuri says, have you ever been in a situation where you froze up and couldn't react? That's an awesome question. David Hughes, if you deal with violence week in, you quickly learn it's much more of a mental approach. It has been for me anyway. Well, there we go, Dave. Classic there. That's exactly it, Dave, because we were saying before, you can get someone who's done no fighting whatsoever, and we all see these people because they're usually the street fighters. They don't fight, or they have very little fights, and they freaking think they're 10 men. And they get, someone comes and maybe they have a few fights, but usually someone actually who can fight comes and cleans them up, and then we come and scrape them off the floor. But yeah, that's all mental attitude. Just it's animalistic, it's posturing. That's all mental attitude, you know. Oh, I'm bigger than you, you know, and you know, all that sort of stuff, you know. So it's mental attitude. And Yuri Boyka says, have you ever been in a situation where you froze up and couldn't react? Luckily, Yuri, I haven't, okay? And I don't know why. Maybe I'm lucky. I've been in situations where I'm just standing there watching carnage happen. P41 training type. Tamitsu says, P4P1 Tamitsu says, bro, you don't know my mentality. I train UFC. Well, exactly. P4, that we were just talking about that before, Mr. P4, about training in MMA. Yeah, I've trained MMA as well. Yep, you know, it's yeah, like you say, we were just talking about it before. How that's the mentality that you have to have. But yeah, that is you know, MMA, you know, every stage of fighting that you could do in the ring or whatever can also obviously prepare for the true violence. And with UFC and MMA being one of the highest levels of violence that you could engage with, you know, awesome, like bah. So yeah, of course. But what we're also saying, and I'm sure there's MMA fighters and stuff like that out there who are soldiers, cops, first responders of whatever kind. What we're also saying to you guys is, because also not everyone, someone might train MMA, but it depends to what level you train it, yeah? If you're training it to like UFC fight comp level, then maybe. But there's hundreds, thousands of people who train MMA. But to those people, I would say, and hopefully my colleagues would say in the emergency services, army, whatever, even that isn't the full level of violence. Trust me, okay? It isn't. So please know that. So to you guys who are starting out MMA and you're training it, even the stuff you see in UFC, which is like, but remember, that's the top end. So that is very close. But at your end or our level of that sort of training, that is not comparable to an actual real violent encounter of any magnitude in real life. So, but I'm not, you know, I don't want people to get annoyed here or insulted, but that's what we're just trying to say. Like, there is a level above that, and usually soldiers will see it. Some people who get very horribly attacked will see it, home invasions, this and that. That's why, for instance, there's that famous MMA fighter, apologies, I forget his name, but the crackhead broke into his house, and he said that was like one of the most terrifying things in his life. Because obviously, you know, an MMA fight or whatever, it's regimented, you prepare for it, you know who you're fighting, there's so many controls. And then you've got this top MMA fighter saying some bum-ass, nobody crackhead bust into my house. I wasn't a small crackhead. And this guy's like top MMA fighter fighting for his life. Oh, there we go. David Hughes says Anthony Smith. So look up Anthony Smith. And the only reason we say this is we say this for all of our safety. Because there are honestly MMA fanboys out there who've trained MMA for a few years or a couple of days or a few months. And they're like, you know, nothing more tough than MMA. And yeah, it's awesome. It's tough. And you've got to have the attitude. And yeah, all of those things are really cool. But if you think that's as tough as it gets, it's not. It isn't. Because in your mind, if you think of street fights, you're going to have a little MMA, like not a little, sorry, an MMA brawl with someone and some ground and pound. Well, that's really close, but it can still be above that when you get a knife in the side of your neck, or someone smashes you with a bottle, or any other number of horrible things happen. You get kicked to pieces by a load of people, you get shot. You know, there's so many things. So yeah. So guys, hopefully you guys all get where I'm coming from here. And to our good friend who commented what we were saying before, I believe in martial arts and self-defense. You know, as someone who's trained all those things as well, BJJ, MMA training, the mixed training, you know, with the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling and the no-gi wrestling, and the striking, and, you know, and separate boxing and separate kickboxing. But, you know, going in the cage is probably the closest. Thank you for the thumbs up. Is probably the closest, but it's still removed. Yeah, Red Chucks. Yeah, I like Red Chucks. Me and Red Chucks chat from time to time. He's a nice guy. I always mean to give him a shout out because I did a interview with Dave LeDuc, who's what is it? Lethway, the world champion of Lethway. If you go and look on my channel, you'll find it. I meant to break it up into bite-sized chunks. Sort of out of respect for Dave, I didn't break it up into bite-sized chunks because in the fight he was talking about him, in the interview he was talking about him fighting Burkow, and gave a few details. But then later on he told me that he, oh thanks Dave, Dave says great interview. Later on he told me that he sort of didn't want too much of that going out. Like he was fine for the whole thing to go out, but he was just like, oh, you know, I don't want to say too much about it. So out of respect for him, I just kept the whole interview in one. I could have made like extra views by breaking it up, like, you know, Joe Rogan show style, where they just give you a little bit, and done a sensational title like Dave LeDuc talks fighting Burkow. And man, that would have probably had hundreds of thousands of clicks on it by now, but I just didn't want to do that to him. So I didn't do it. Shit, we've missed a load of comments here. Wow, so many. Awesome comments here. There was one. Oh yeah. There was one from Mike. Oh yeah, Mike said earlier on, he said, when you first, because Mike's new, he wanted to know about starting martial arts. He said, when you first started martial arts, was it a challenge? Yeah, it was a challenge, but I was 5 years old. So I don't know, I can't remember what it's like when before I was 5. But I can take you forward, I suppose, to when I started doing BJJ. So, you know, I've done martial arts since I was 5, and now I'm 35. You know, I can't say I've consistently been in the Shaolin Temple, but I've been doing martial arts since I was about 13 or 14, most of the week. So, you know, 4 to 5 times a week at least, training for at least until mid to late 20s, you know, and then still training more. And you guys can see the last 10 years of my channel on here. It was 10 years on here that you can see of just training, you know, like every day, challenges, all sorts of training. It's all old style Kung Fu training and stuff, but I was also doing a lot of training that you guys don't see on here, with other people, going to my jiu-jitsu club, blah, 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 and working as a cop for those exact same 10 years. What was the question? Yeah, so when I first went to BJJ, was it a challenge? When I first went, and Iron Palm, definitely Iron Palm. You'll see me doing all sorts of Iron Palm on my channel, bending rebars, breaking breeze blocks and stuff, all that sort of stuff. But was it a challenge? So yeah, when I first started, so taking that to BJJ, I'd done martial arts for years. I did BJJ. I'd done traditional jiu-jitsu, but then when I did BJJ more recently, over the last couple of years, year or so, something, I was getting injuries. I thought I was strong, and I did BJJ, and I am strong for my size, but I was doing BJJ, and I was like twisting my freaking, twisting my intercostal muscles, and then. Karate Tetsute, Jerry, my good man. How are you doing, sir? Good old Jerry. Yeah, twisting my intercostal muscles, you know, bending your stupid toe. You know when you stub your toe on the mat and then your freaking toe's like dead, like it explodes, you know, your big toe. It bends back, and then you've got this stupid thing where you can't barely walk or stand because you've bust your big toe on the floor. And I was constantly, after that, I was constantly taping up my big toe, like just constantly. So it's awesome. So there we go for, Sorry, man. There's so many names. I'm bad with names. I'm a cop who's bad with names. Mike down. So for Mike there, was it a challenge? Mate, even if you've done martial arts for years, you start a new one and it's a challenge. So when you start it for the first time, it's a challenge, but everything's a challenge when you start it. You know, everything's a challenge. But yeah, good question, man. Anyway, look, going back, we got some cool questions here. Diddle-diddly. So yeah, Yuri Boko said, have you ever been in a situation when you just froze up? And I presume that was like as a police officer doing the crap that I have to do. But no, luckily I haven't frozen up. But I attribute that to training. Yeah, like I said before, I've been in situations where I'm just surrounded by carnage and I'm just looking and I'm just like, you know, what the hell? What the hell's going on? And Karate Tetsute says, still after 30 years, martial arts is a challenge, and he's correct. It's always a challenge because you're challenging yourself constantly. You're never good enough. But yeah, back to the other question. I've stood around in New Year 2019. I was in on a bad street where these two houses were feuding, and there was just bottles and bricks and everything like smashing, and they were throwing breeze blocks over, and people were running around with spades and machetes and this and that and the next thing. And this is in like a suburban area, but a bad end of the suburban area. No one had guns because it's not America, it's Australia. And I was just standing there, and me and a couple of guys were just looking at this carnage, and every now and then a rock was going, the car windows of the front cars got smashed. And you know, you're just in those situations, you just stand around, and you're so after 12 years, honestly, I got to that, and you're so used to the freaking constant barrage of like violence that you're just like, man, you just stand around shaking your head, usually letting out a laugh and just going, what the fuck is going on here? But then also cognizant of the realization that it's a very dangerous situation. When a brick or a bottle goes fing past your head. Something similar, but to a very more small scale, I guess, to what the soldiers get the same. But I'm talking soldiers as up here, and kind of I'm coming in from down here. But the feeling, you know, they probably get the same. You know, I've got friends in the cops with me who are ex-Afghani military veterans from Afghan, Australian guys. And you know, they say it's the same, man. You just, you know, you kind of, even when he was in his firefights, the guys would get to an area and there'd be all the Taliban and stuff. And even though they were taking fire and like crazy shit was happening, they were all just sitting there looking, going, what the fuck is going on here? Ba ba ba, you know, fucking ba ba ba, you know. They just shell shocked, but they acted. They still reacted because of their training. That's we go. So we didn't freeze up. We don't freeze up because we do our training and we keep our like warrior spirit. Yeah, there's a lot of old traditional martial arts that people diss on, like even Bujinkan, like ninjutsu, or Bujinkan that everyone hates. But I'm a sort of a bit of an advocate for it because I actually trained it for years. But I trained it with some of the better people in Europe because you could go on about that martial art for years, but you have to know what it is. It's, you know, it's very old, historic sort of recreation martial art, but there's a lot in tradition, and I now just call it like traditional jiu-jitsu because that's what it is, but there's a lot in traditional jiu-jitsu about cultivating a fighting spirit. That's one of the strongest, most powerful things you can do as a martial artist, is cultivate your fighting spirit. If you don't have that, you lose every day of the week. You lose your bottle. So people say, oh, those martial arts are useless and this and that and the next thing. And I don't mind that. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Maybe they are useless. But to the odd person who gets the fighting spirit from that martial art, they can take it somewhere else. But for the person who gets it from that martial art, it's worked for them. That's all you need, is that fighting spirit. Okay, all the way back. Getting these comments. Oh, yeah. Oh, geez, we're going back here. Some good comments here. David Hughes, been a head doorman for 25 years, and my first fights kept me awake with adrenaline dumps, etc. Learning a way to deal with that is a huge part of traditional martial arts. Yeah, traditionally doormen are really, old school doormen are really kind of into their jiu-jitsu, love their practical application jiu-jitsu, old school jiu-jitsu. A lot of the doormen in England where you know, where I used to just live, they were all into the traditional jiu-jitsu, you know, judo throws. But then, you know, there was also just a little bit of, people might call it martial arts hocus pocus, but there was a little bit of the traditional martial arts focus, discipline, and that, you know, and awareness. There's, you know, in those traditional martial arts, there's all this like, you know, distance awareness, covering attacks, covering defensive postures. There's all that stuff, which is like quite new age in self-defense and Krav Maga, but it was all there. It was all there when we were all doing it. So there's nothing new about it. So that's an awesome one by Dave. Good old Dave. Sensei Emmett says a guy breaks into a house and attacks a woman while her toddler sleeps. She fights back. She sees a knife and he sees a knife and stabs her. Yeah. That's just, yeah. What can I say about that, man? Jabu 1983, sorry, who's probably not here anymore, poor guy, says when you get to a level where you could kill with a hit. I know you can't rely on that. Internal and external conditioning can be very dangerous. Does that concern? No, that is not a concern, Jabu. And I think the day where you get to the point where you believe you can kill with one hit is probably the day that you think too highly of yourself. I worry a little bit about this because, you know, I know that for the last 15 plus years, 19 years, I've done conditioning, yeah, of my bones, you know, of my hands and the stupid conditionings that I've done, blah, blah, blah. Which doesn't make my hands that much greater than anyone else's, but for me, they're better than they were. So sometimes I worry because every single encounter I go into, I'm highly fearful. I don't go into an encounter thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to smash this guy. Maybe I should, but I'm not. But the problem with being highly fearful, I'm calm, but I'm highly fearful. The problem of being highly fearful, and I've always overestimated my opponent, always. So, because I just think that there's another person like me. That's all I can think of. When I go into a room, a house, or whatever, someone's trying to get me, I'm just like, they must be like freaking me. What if they're an MMA fighter? What if they're not that I'm an MMA fighter, but, you know, what if they're this? What if they're that? So I'm always highly fearful. And I don't really allow for that mindset to creep in of like, oh, I must hold back because I'm done martial arts and I've got to be this. That's, I believe, some people might be better people than me, but I find that a dangerous mindset. And because the one time I held back on someone and I was nice, we ended up falling on the floor and I popped my ankle out on the inside whilst this guy was trying to pummel me, and he was a big fat guy. Luckily for me, because I'm quite flexible and I can do the big stances, as I was falling and I went like this, my ankle popped out and I kind of went back on myself and it popped back in again. And then I got angry because I wasn't angry enough. This guy was trying to hurt me. He grabbed me here and I put my hands to cover jiu-jitsu style. And I went, look, mate, just come on, calm down. And then he's done something and I've pulled back in like a traditional jiu-jitsu way, but he was way heavier than I thought he was and we fell down. And as he's fallen on me, my like weak leg couldn't take the weight of two of us and my joint popped out because my feet are slightly, I've got like a bit bow legs and my feet are slightly rolled to one way so they can pop out, you know. So yeah, my stance, my skeletal structures failed me. at that time, with my boot on and everything like that. And my ankle popped out, and this guy's still trying to pummel me alone in a hotel room. I was with him, and he was a mental patient who escaped from a mental ward. There's nothing wrong with that, but he didn't have his faculties. But that's why I felt bad. I don't have any bad intent for this guy. He's got mental health issues. He doesn't know what's going on, but he doesn't understand. So it's kind of a bit like a bit of a wild animal, really. He doesn't have any intention that you can pick up on. What's this guy going to do? He doesn't know what he's going to do. So yeah, anyway, long story short, fell over. I was trying to be nice. Fell over, my ankle popped out. My training, my simple, stupid stance training that everyone takes the piss out of in traditional martial arts and says, oh, that you don't need that, meant that I was flexible enough to stand back before I fell and my ankle popped back in. Then I got angry. And grabbed this guy by his own scruff and did a good old Jason Bourne into the toilet door because I was angry at him then. And then freaking ended up fucking just wailing on him a bit, which was probably unfair, but at this time my ankle had popped out. And actually I learned a valuable lesson on that day, because when I went into that room, contrary to what I was saying before, I was that's what I mean, but I was fairly confident that I would be able to handle the situation. I was like, yeah, I'm me, I do a lot of training. So the one time I was just a little bit, and I try and be quite humble, but the one time I was fairly confident. I went in and I was like, oh no, I'll be able to handle this. I won't call for backup. I'm all right. I didn't account, this guy, he's bigger than me, but he's a bit of an older guy, and he's pretty fat, and, he's not going to really be a trouble. I knew he had mental health issues, but the one time I was like, yeah, everything's fine. I didn't account for the unexpected injury that I was going to get when my ankle popped out of its joint as we're wrestling, and just chaos came into play, boom. And then the feeling inside you when you go from, so that was a real situation. So the feeling inside you when you go from, everything's fine, to shit, I'm alone in this room with this guy who's got mental health issues. He's starting to wail on me. I'm wearing equipment that's dangerous for the both of us. Didn't have a gun because it was England, thankfully. Now I'm falling over and my ankle's popped out and I've lost one leg. This is where jiu-jitsu is great, but I know traditional jiu-jitsu. I didn't know BJJ then, but luckily, like I said, I was able to stable myself. My ankle popped back in, but to go from that being, oh, everything's fine, to being, oh shit, the feeling was bad, and I was pissed off at myself. I was really pissed off at myself because I was like, man, it's not like I got beaten, but I was like, because I ended up, like I said, I Jason Bourned him into the toilet door, and he like crashed through the toilet door and like onto the bathroom. See you, Jerry, mate. You train that guy. See him there, karate tetsute, means iron hand. Thanks, buddy. But so yeah, guys. Sorry, I trailed off again. But so the one time I was a bit kind to someone, the one time I had a little bit of confidence in myself is the one time I got let down. Yeah, exactly. It's not nice to hurt people. I don't like hurting people. No one likes hurting people. But yeah. Anyway, I lost my train of thought there. But let's go back to some more questions. There's some questions here. Some poor guy says, people are unhinged, so I stay at home. Oh, poor guy. Okay, what do we got here? Yuri says, I think P for P is making fun of street fighters thinking they can never lose. Yeah, that's funny. I know, because they're not actually skilled, a lot of them. Lord Cloud X says, animalistic instinctive posturing could be deadly too. To many people in my country, Philippines, hello Philippines, Don't know how to back down against someone armed with a gun, holstered, and de-escalate. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, man. That's a good point there. You know, as much as having the heart of a tiger and fighting everyone, sometimes, yeah, you may have to back down. If someone's got a gun, or some other kind of very deadly weapon, you might have to swallow your pride and just be like, okay, man, whatever's happening is not worth dying for, Sensei Emmett says, same situation, different outcome, and different view from society. Violence is a tool, offensive and defensive. Anthony Smith. Yuri says, do you watch Red Trucks? Yes, I said before, I do watch Red Trucks. I like old Red Trucks. And he's gotten a lot bigger as well. That guy was big anyway, but he's gotten big. And they say he should play Wolverine. No, Red Trucks for Sabretooth, not Wolverine. So Red Trucks for Sabretooth. So if anyone speaks to Red Trucks, you tell him, Brett from IBNA says Red Trucks for Sabretooth, because Sabretooth's even bigger than Wolverine. So good on him. Great interview. Great breaks from Red Chucks as well. That guy's got strong bones. And he does some sparring on his channel. So Lord Cloud says, there was actually an incident a few months ago here in the Philippines. 2 guys with motorcycle helmets started fighting each other on the road, and they moved like they were sparring. Got a video of it. Oh, cool. Well, you should post it up on YouTube so we can see it. P4P Taramitsu says, exactly, Yuri. I used to be one of those people that think they could kind of fight without training. But joining a boxing gym was the best thing I ever did and made me more humble. Exactly, mate. Humility, I believe, I don't know about you guys, I always say, like a lack of humility is the death of a martial artist. Honestly, I do feel that way. Or is it cockiness? What's the opposite of humility? Ego. That's what I say. Ego is the death of your martial arts. Honestly, it is. Gordon Liu says, hello Gordon, I just ordered a tuna catch bag and some mung beans. Any leftover, I shall ear them. I think I eat, yeah, iron palm, for iron palm training. Excellent, Gordon. Yes, we love that. I've got my iron palm iron sand bag up in the garage there, filled with iron sand filings, which I've hit. That's why my hands are a bit knobbly. Karate Tetsu Elizabeth. Jobo 1983 says, best defense against prison rape. Best defense against prison rape, don't go to prison. I guess if you go to prison for defending yourself and you're in prison and you need to defend yourself against prison rape, I don't know, just piss off one of the guards and get yourself put in seclusion and just keep getting yourself put in seclusion. Anything's better than prison rape, I think. I don't know, I don't have prison advice for people. There's channels here with prison advice, but I refuse to watch them. I was going to buy steel shot, but opted for mung beans as I'm a beginner. Gordon, that was good. That was good that you did that, bro, because iron palm training is very hard on your system. So you can, if you train on a steel bag, you can do it for a year or 2, but you will actually become a little bit sick. Sometimes it can get you sick because you need to do it very gradually. And I know you might be like, how can it get me sick? But when your body constantly is repairing itself from that level of bruising all the time, and you're not used to it, it's like, did you hear about the girl who did 1,000 squats and then she died of, she got kidney failure? It's the same sort of thing. That sort of training is very taxing on your bones. It taxes your internal organs, which produce the bone and the calcium and the minerals and control the healing and the inflammation. So yeah, so good that you did that, man. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Jesus, so many comments here. I can't even keep up with them. Jeebus, these are legendary. Yeah, there we go. Yuri says, don't go to prison. It's probably best advice. Yeah, I agree with that guy. Oh, wait, I can do it from here and then you guys don't have to see my finger. Oh, no, it's not working. Oh, yeah. Jobo 1983 says, I was drunk doing the funky chicken and they set me up as the local pimp. Well, that's not cool. David says, who's the bouncer, says, I believe it's very important to find a martial art that deals with multiple attackers regularly. Such a common way of being attacked here in the UK. Yeah, good point. Not a lot of multiple attack stuff going on. And in a lot of martial arts that do it, people kind of, people discount those. They're like, oh, they do it a bit in karate, multiple attacker, sometimes in the jiu-jitsu club, multiple attacker. But, say it's not something you would encounter, say, in your MMA club. But it's something you may encounter in real life. And if you solely focus on one person and you don't have strategies and techniques for taking on multiple people, i.e. multiple strikes, strike for effect, someone, the closest person to you, strike for effect. Someone else is going to come in, strike for effect, defend, strike for effect. Keep moving constantly. Do not be a sitting duck or a stationary target. You see those videos of those boxers, the boxers who take on 5 or 6 people. And why do they succeed? Because one guy comes and they single direct straight line attack, or, I say straight line attack, but don't get me wrong, it might be a hook or whatever, but you know what I mean? It's straight down the line, bum, bum, they go for one guy. They do not hesitate. Someone else even looks at them, bum, bum, they go for that guy. Next guy goes bang, bang, they go for that guy. That's like the principles of multiple attack are more important than the multiple attack scenarios, which you're never going to be able to think. But yeah, anyway, not that I'm a freaking master of multiple attack. What else have we got? Jobo 1983 Gears, I generally love cops, they got a tough job. Yeah, there's a lot of jerks in the police force, but yeah, it's a tough job, so maybe that's why we all become jerks. People are unhinged, I stay at home. Gordon Liu, poor Gordon Liu. Yeah, Gordon, you stay at home, you keep doing your own palm training, bro. You'll be awesome. David Hughes, there are so many angles to explore in martial arts combatives. Yeah, there is. Dave says he started with judo here in the UK. Mike's down says, thank you once again, but out of curiosity, are you a religious person? So we'll put that one there for a second. Jobo says, your hands could be dangerous to vital spots, and mine certainly are. Oh, Jobo, tell us why. David Hughes, I respect your honesty. I get highly fearful too, and it's all about survival. That's when I was saying, when I go into a real situation, I'm actually, if I'm going into a house, I'm hearing, I'm trying to get this violent person, or going to a domestic and you can hear everyone shouting, you can hear someone just screaming like an animal, I'm there, I start to jitter myself, adrenaline dump, I start to shake. Sometimes I'm standing with people and I'm there fucking shaking, sorry to swear, and they look at me and they're like, oh, you scared, oh, you scared. Sometimes they pick up on it and they really press me for it, because if someone's being aggressive to you and you're shaking a bit, they see it as a weakness and they go, oh, you're shaking, and I just look at them and I'm like, I don't change my thing. I'm just like, yeah, mate, I might be shaking, but I'm not scared of you at all, or maybe I am, but I'm not going to tell them that, because that'd just be stupid. Someone says, so is killing someone. Ooh, I don't know. Sorry, Jobo, I don't know what that was. Jobo says he doesn't like hurting people because he's no psychopath. Sadly, bad people don't have such a concern. I've hurt people on occasion, and that was always on conscience. In self-defense, good. Yeah, that's how you have to be. It's nice to be that way. David Hughes said, glad someone said that. I don't like hurting people also. It seems to take a little bit of my soul, yeah. Hence I try to rebalance my spirit with good deeds where I can. Yeah. Mate, that's a good point there, man, because I rate, contrary to all this martial arts stuff, I rate compassion very highly, I've had people full on attack me, obviously in the job, but then you contain them, or the situation is solved, and then you have to look after them. And that can be very hard, because someone who's just attacked you, and you've got to look after them. But I don't find that as hard, because I have this fight, no fight mentality. And maybe it's from doing martial arts all my life, like, as a kid when, sparring or whatever, where it's like I can be someone's best mate, we can be laughing, and then if they say, okay, you two spar, then I'm like their most hated, deadliest enemy, not that I'm deadly, but, like in my mind, I'm just like, no, focused, and then click, it's off, and then focus, and then it's off. So I get a similar situation in real life where something will happen, focus, maximum, it can be maximum pressure, maximum, rapid, rapid, effective, and I forget what the acronym is, but, rapid, effective, fucking targeted, strikes, whatever, get it done, and then once it's done, bing, everything's fine. So I do like that, and I rate compassion highly. You can still have compassion for someone and have the capacity to inflict violence on someone who's gonna harm you. Yeah, but then once that's finished, depending on what they were trying to do or what the scenario is, it's finished then, maybe, unless they're carrying it on, I don't know. But that's a good point. Yuri Boca says, have you seen JRE episode with Francis Ngannou? It's really great. Francis talks about how he escaped from Cameroon. Man, that guy's a legend. I mean, I'm from Africa traditionally myself. Oh, sorry, originally, traditionally. Different part of Africa to our friend Francis Ngannou. But that guy is just a personification of Africa, man. The toughness of Africa. Yeah, but Yuri Boca says, yeah, I first thought he would be more suited for Sabretooth, but he is too damn similar to Wolverine. Oh, this is about Red Chucks. And P4P Taramitsu says, it's always best to swallow your pride, in my opinion. Yes. Then you can learn. Lord Cloud says, don't mind me being a little girl. P4P says, in street self-defense situations, it's just not worth it to get into any ego battles. Exactly, man. Jubu says, sorry, Brett, that was silly, but just apt to. Oh, yeah, okay. Wow, yeah, beans. Oh, yeah, Gordon Luce as well. He's glad he went with beans. He was talking about using steel ball bearings as a training method when he started off his iron palm training, and I suggested don't do it because you'll be able to do it for maybe a year or two, and then you'll probably get sick. So just build up to it naturally. Give yourself the time. Someone said they did 1,000 push-ups and pissed blood. Exactly, Jobo, that's what we were talking about. So it's the same with the iron palm stuff. Don't start too early. I mean, don't start too thin. Geez, I'm gonna have to go to bed now. It's like 4 a.m. here. David Hughes, a lot of recovery is a set time frame, just like a woman is pregnant for 9 months. Reading up on it can help massively with physical preparedness. Yep, definitely. Taramitsu says, what do you use beans for? Oh, Taramitsu, mung beans in a bag. So mung beans are quite dense for what they are. They're obviously little green beans, but they're pretty dense for what they are. They weigh quite a lot. It's like, I suppose, like corn. They weigh more than bits of corn. And traditionally in Kung Fu, you put them in a bag and you strike them with your hands and your bones and stuff. And it just like toughens the bones of the hand and stuff. So say if you've not got gloves on, if you've not got wraps, you can, strike, and it will just lessen the damage that you will get. That's it. That's all you can hope for. And make you just a bit more resistant to damage. That's pretty much it. And then traditionally in Kung Fu, you take it further where you strike the beans for a long time. Then you might put some gravel in there with the beans, you strike that. And you might do that for a long time. And then you start to put other stuff in, and eventually you put like steel shot and you strike that. Someone says it was silly, but built up to it too. It was silly not. Oh, Jobo says it would be silly not to build up to it. Yeah, exactly. You've got to build up to everything that you do. Man, this is good, guys. We had a good chat here. This bloody eye thing. I only managed to get through I'll send some more hearts on those topics. I only managed to get through maybe 10 or 12 comments from people on the actual videos because we had lots of things going on here, which is good. I'm probably going to have to... Man, I was meant to be sleeping. I should have gone to bed. Tomorrow's my day off from work, but now it's already tomorrow. It's 4 a.m. So I've literally been stupid and stayed up too late talking crap. But yeah, I'll probably sleep in. What are we on? 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9. Maybe I'll sleep till 9 or 10 and then carry on with my day. I'm used to staying up a long time till nights because of night shifts and afternoons and stuff. It's not good for you though. So, but anyway, guys, look, thanks a lot. Awesome. Thank you for being here, tuning in. Thanks for the, Jobo says you're giving good love. Yeah, thanks for the guys who supported the channel, because this channel's been going for 10 years and I just gas on. It's not got a high production value. Thank you, Yuri Boyka. Yeah, so, but there's been a lot of people who just, you know, it's not a big channel for the fact that it's been here for 10 years. It's, thanks, Mike. Some awesome questions from Mike. Good luck with your martial arts. Please let us know what you do. Put a comment on one of the videos. Send me a message or something like that. See what martial art you want to do. Have a trawl through from some of my videos, but it's mainly me training Kung Fu stuff and whatnot, and some training. It's not very well organized, so it might not be the sorts of things you want to do. There's a lot of other better things you can do first. Some of this flexibility stuff's good though to start with. That's also good. But yeah, so thanks to the guys that supported the channel. I wish the channel would kind of grow a bit more, but I just can't keep up with, like, you know, the quality of YouTube, you know, the editing, and yeah, I've got a phone here on a stand. I can't afford to buy another better phone. I've been trying, like, not a better phone, you know, a better camera and all that. I've been trying for years, but oh yeah, Lord Cloud says found your channel via the Shad Nunchuck thing. Yeah, it's funny though, because people who newly find my channel, some people newly find my channel, if they're like haters or whatever, and then it's always funny that usually they delete their comments because you can't find them on the video, but they'll like come and they'll be like, no, you don't know anything about martial arts, you know, you're just a baby, you don't even know anything about life, you know, what are you talking about? Because, you know, I don't know, maybe I look slightly younger than I am, or just maybe I just don't look tough, whatever. But they're like, you don't know anything. And then I go, mate, have you looked back, or you don't really train, or, you know, the things that these people say. And I go like, mate, just go on my freaking videos, and regardless of how good or not good I am, because none of my videos are me saying I'm good, but I'm like, regardless of whether I'm good or not good, you can see 10 years of me training on my channel. So at least I freaking do what I'm trying to tell people I do, you know? Like, if I tell you I've done something, I've freaking done it for the last 10 years because it's on my freaking channel, you know? You know, so it's funny, then usually they disappear, you know? Or people will come and they'll be like, you know, martial arts, you know, you don't know anything about real life. And I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, bro, like, maybe I don't, but I've been a freaking cop for 12 years. I'm fed up of being a cop in 2 different jurisdictions, England and Australia. So I know what violence is, you know. There's obviously people who know more about violence than me, like soldiers, a lot of American cops in different jurisdictions who work, and people all over the world, who in war-torn areas and bad areas and, you know, ghettos. But, you know, at least I've got something of an idea. So, like, at least when I'm telling people, or when I'm just talking about my opinions of self-defense and this and that and blah, 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 at least I've just got, you know, all you can ask for in life is a qualified opinion, you know, like, just an opinion backed up by a little bit of, like, evidence or knowledge, you know. That's something worth listening to, you know. It's like someone telling you how to box, or have they actually boxed? Okay, they have boxed. Oh, great. Well, I'll listen to their opinion. You know, any one of you guys who lots of martial arts, or anyone could tell me about anything, And I'd be like, oh, awesome. So, you know, have you done that? Yes, I have. Oh, cool, man. That's great. I will give it a try. But, you know, you guys know on the internet, you get people who try and tell you stuff, they haven't done it. They're usually the ones who come on and say things like, I punch my wall every day. You know, I toughen my hands by punching my wall every day. And I'm just like, no, bro, no, you don't. No, you don't punch your wall every day. Maybe you punch it like a couple of times a week for a few minutes, but you don't punch it every day, because I know if punching your wall every day was a viable method to condition your hands, then I'd be doing it, yeah? But the main reason, it's actually all right, but the main reason is you end up destroying your wall. You know, eventually the wall starts to crumble, the plaster comes off, it cracks, like my old bedroom wall. So yeah. Yes, Lord's Cloud. But yeah, but anyway, let me know in the future what videos you guys might like. I've seen that I don't usually like to comment on other people's videos and make video responses. Every now and then I do, because I don't like the kind of flame war thing that happens. But yeah, I've put out a few video responses on some topics and videos, and they've been quite popular for my channel, because usually I do a video, it gets like 100 or 200 views or something like that. But you know, you do a video on like, you know, Shad's talking about nunchucks and it'll get like 4,000 views. But like I said, I only like doing that when it's actually something I want to talk about. You know, like it catches me and I'm like, oh yeah. Because I don't, you know, a lot of channels out there pander for views because it makes money for them. David Hughes says, I'd like to see you with a few guests on live. Yeah, well, that would be good, Dave, if I wasn't so useless. Jubu says, I like you, humble, nice guy, and very capable. Too nice to be a cop, honest. Oh, well, thank you, sir. Well, I don't know about capable. I mean, I guess you've only got what I'm telling you in my mouth about being capable. But I appreciate the vote of confidence anyway. But for Dave, yeah, Dave, yeah, it was awesome to speak to Dave LeDuc. I was a little bit starstruck, you can tell in that interview. And I don't interview people, so I was a bit like, I don't know what to say. But it was, yeah, that was awesome speaking to Dave LeDuc. So yeah, it'd be great to just, you know, and I've had a couple of channels that we've meant to be doing stuff together, and we just haven't done it. I would like to do something or talk to old Ramsey Dewey, because I like old Ramsey Dewey, you know, but he's like a super huge channel and I'm like a nothing channel. Red Chucks, you know, we could have a good chat. I like Red Chucks. His channel's a smaller channel, a bit like mine, pretty small like mine. David says he learns a hell of a lot on this channel, bro. Well, Dave, thank you, sir. I take that as a compliment. Because you're, you know, you're a very capable person. Obviously, 25 years as a bouncer, that's very tough. I know the world that you have had to live in. Obviously, being a cop in the UK, I know that world, and it's a dingy world, my friend. So thank you for your service. Dave says Lee Morrison would be great. Ramsey Jew's awesome. What do you think of Vampire's channel? Seems similar size to yours. Yeah, I like Vampire. I think Vampire did a video with Ginger Ninja Trickster where they were going through YouTube channels, and they actually did mention my channel. And I was hoping after that they might, you know, we might chat, you know. But I think I could probably chat with Vampire. I think it was Vampire, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. But again, just life got in the way, never got round to it. But yeah, I like old Vampire. He's been around for a while as well. I haven't seen his channel in a while because I don't know what you guys think, but the algorithm on YouTube and this stupid TikTok thing, man, I never put bad comments on YouTube on anything, on anyone. You know, I try to like be positive. I try to not put people down. But mate, I'm opening my YouTube now and there's all this TikTok crap on there. And look, yeah, we all like, you know, I can't, if you're a guy or maybe a woman or whatever, you might like women, you know, you like women, you find them attractive, you know, of course, whatever. But, you know, just, there's all this TikTok shit and these little kids jumping around and filming themselves in their spandex and stuff. And yeah, you know, yeah, it's all right. And it does distract you from time to time. And by little kids, I mean, they're like 18, 19, 20, whatever. But you know, it's just like, oh, piss off, you know. And now I've actually got to the point where like a video comes up of some like girl looking at the screen. Because I'm on YouTube, I'm not on TikTok. I don't want TikTok. So some girl like looks at the screen and then she does, some stupid music comes on and then she goes like, you know, and I'm like, now it's gotten to the point where I'm so angry, I'm just like, that was retarded, and I send it. And I know it's wrong, because you will not find, I often say on my channel, you will not find a single negative comment from me on like anyone's video. I like to give constructive criticism. I don't criticize, sorry, I like to be constructive. I don't like to slam people. Very rarely, you know, even if I don't agree with what someone's doing, I won't literally write, "No, that's not good." I'll just write a comment like, or keep up the training, or something like that. But yeah, I see that crap, and it just pisses me off. You know, that shit. Anyway, I'm gonna stop whinging. Anyway, sorry about that. You can easily talk to Ramsey Dewey, just comment on one of his videos. Yeah, I do comment on Ramsey's videos and stuff. I would like to talk to the guy. He's a bit of a legend, really. Lord Cloud says the algorithm sucks, not only for smaller YouTubers, but even for bigger ones. Yeah, channels suddenly getting penalized. Guilty of getting clickbaited into some of those videos, though. He sees cute girl click, says Lord Cloud. Cloud, exactly. Yep. And then you like see, there's like 3 or 4 of them, and you like scroll through to try and find a decent one, and then it comes up on your feed like of all the ones you've watched, and you're like, no, people are gonna think I'm like some freaking pest or something. Oh, Dave Hughes says he worries for teenagers these days. Even the Army and Marines have had to soften training. Yeah, I know, mate. And I'm not, you know, I'm only 35, you know, and my generation wasn't the toughest by any means. But yeah, it's like, but I don't know if every generation says that, you know, like every generation says that the other ones, like they despair for the other generation. They're like, oh, Jesus, what's wrong with these kids? And then the next, you know, like in the 20s, they were like, oh no, what's wrong with these 1900s people? You know, and then in the 40s, they were like, oh, these 1920s kids, they're ridiculous. And on it goes. But I think now we've reached like a precipice with the social media thing where it really has changed. And I know this is like nothing to do with martial arts. And also there's this big, like, you know, like there was a good thing on YouTube where it was like, you know, you might say, oh, I like bananas. And someone will be, you know, it was like a joke, but it was like, you say, I like bananas, and someone will be like, oh, well, you know, you've left out apples and pears and you didn't even mention oranges, you know, and it's just like you know, it's just this idiotic culture that's come online. You know, you have to be so careful about the video. I always have been, but you have to be so careful about the videos you make and what you say. You've always got to like explain yourself, you know, because you've always got to, like anyone who makes YouTube videos or knows, you've always got to prep yourself for the lowest common denominator answer. Like if you do a demonstration of you like hitting with a nunchuck like this, you have to go like, look, this is training to hit with it like this, but you can also hit with it like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Otherwise, some idiot will come on your video and go, oh, you know, you don't only hit with a nunchuck like this. You can hit with it like that, and you can hit with it like that. You know, it's like, oh, Jesus. Someone just throw me in a river. Oh, wait. Boyka says, yeah, if you go on his older videos where there aren't a lot of comments, you can ask him to do an interview with you and he'll probably accept. Oh, cool. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, I don't know how to broach that one, but got iPhones at 5 years old, no chance, yeah. And David Hughes says, just look at pictures of young men in the World War II and you can see the difference. Yeah. Oh, well. But that's not to say, I mean, I know we've got a lot of younger guys and stuff who are on here. You know, maybe they think we're talking crap. So no disrespect to you guys. You're our future martial artists. You know, you're our future people, but we're trying to, well, like I said, I'm only 35, but for anyone younger in early 20s, you know, you guys are tough too, you know, don't get me wrong. It's just a different culture, but we're just trying to want to make you guys tougher. Yuri Boyka says, "Oh no, I'm a younger guy and I agree with you. We are weak." No, I don't think so, mate. You guys are tough. You guys are tough. Like now, mate, everything from like a police point of view is trailing off topic, but now from a police point of view, everything you do is like recorded. And when I even 12, 13 years ago when I started, yeah, obviously there was CCTV. I had one of those old phone, you know, the like Nokia phones, and I was late into getting the iPhone. Maybe about 5 or 6 years into my career, I got an iPhone 3. But and I was like amazed with the stuff you could do. And that's actually, I started my YouTube channel on an iPhone 3. If you go back to my first videos, it's my iPhone 3 hanging from a string in my conservatory, you know, because I was just like, oh, well, you know, I want to show my training that I've been doing for all these years. Yeah, but where were we going with that one? But yeah, so it's tough for you guys now because it's just a different world. Everything's filmed. Oh, sorry. And even now, police-wise, now we wear cameras now, which makes it even harder. But it's tough for everyone, man. Like everything's filmed. Someone gets injured and everyone's filming them. No one goes to help. Like literally, like these things happen and people are like this with their phone. And problem as well is these entitled people. I mean, yeah, look, you know, like the state and the law and its conspiracy theories. Yeah. But the, you know, the majority of your emergency services and stuff, depending on what country you're in though, but the majority of them are just people like you and they're just trying to do their job as right as they can. And then you get these people who are like dead set that everyone's trying to do a conspiracy and they're filming. You know, now like I stopped to talk to someone, it's ridiculous. I stopped to talk to someone the other day. And I was filming them on my stupid camera because I have to, so I pressed it. And I'm like, yeah, guys, look, how's it doing? Who are you? I don't have to answer your questions. I refuse to answer your questions. The driver, but the driver, I'm like, yes, sorry, the law here in Australia, you have to answer, tell me who you are. Okay, great. The passenger, I don't have to answer your questions. Yes, he's correct. You know, but then just talking to the guy, I'm like, look, mate, you told me you're a local, but you don't have to tell me your name. But I'm trying to figure out whether you're lying to me or not, because I don't know if you're a local, I don't recognize you. So if you just tell me your name, I'll be able to have a look and see if you're a local. And actually, all I'm trying to do is let you go on your way, piss off. But if you give me reason to think you might be someone suspicious by like being obstructive, I guess this is what people don't realize. It's like, you know, your job is to try and find out if someone's a criminal, if they're obstructive. And then you're just trying to talk to them conversationally, like, mate, like, who are you? Where are you going? Yes, you don't have to tell me in a legal point of view, but as a person, you know, you can still tell me. I'm not going to write it down anywhere. I'm just going to go, oh, yeah, oh, your name's Mike, you're a local guy. All right, Mike, off you go. You know, as it happened, that guy who didn't tell me who he was, you know, I had a bit of a chat to him and said, look, mate, I just want to know if you're local or not, but you don't have to tell me. And then he was like, okay, my name's John Smith, you know. And I was like, yeah, okay. Well, John Smith, I'm going to have to search your car, you know. And then he's got his phone and he's filming. And I was filming anyway. And I was like, his name's not really John, but I was like, John, mate, I'm filming anyway, so what are you filming for? And he was like, yeah, no. I was like, yep, you can film. Oh, look, John, you've just filmed me finding drugs under your seat. Good on you, Johnny boy. So where was all the sovereign rights then? You know, they kind of went out the window because they were doing the wrong thing anyway. So, but anyway, this isn't that channel, you know. Move on from that. I'm whinging now. Someone's dissing on TikTok. Yeah, cops in America have got it tough from Yuri Boyka. Jobo says the one world government or cops being more vicious. I sense the one world government, trust me. Things about to turn dark. Dave says, I use old school gentleman's code. Be confident, polite and helpful. Life is a hell of a lot easier this approach. Yep. Jobo says, Brett must be glad not to be in the UK then. Again, they got same controls on stripping rights as Aussie. Maybe worse. Mate, I was in the UK, as you know. I was there for 20 years and I was a cop there for 7 years. So yeah, I know what you're talking about, bro. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. But that's a whole different topic of things, you know, like I do know that sometimes the law enforcement side of things and the public side of things don't align, and stuff happens that is unfair, and it's like, why should I say this? And well, I'll give you an example. I walked into a shop here the other day. Yeah, Yuri, I am South African. Yeah, I walked into a shop the other day, and this guy goes like stops me. Or I was either going in or out. And they're really big in Australia about searching your bag. And I'm walking out the shop and this guy's like, I want to search your bag. And I'm like, what do you mean you want to search my bag? You know, and this was when I first came to Australia, and I was kind of offended. I was like, why do you want to search my bag? You know, I'm just coming in the shop. And then he was like, no, it's condition of entry that I have to search your bag. So it might have been when I was going in, I can't remember. But I just got a bit shitty that this guy wanted to search my bag. So I know how people feel, when, you're driving down the road, maybe some cops stop you and they want to search your car, they want to search you, they might, you're getting pestered. And I don't have an answer for that for people. It's like, then you make your choice, whether you just behave, you suck it up, like 80s style, 70s style, 60s style, you just suck it up, or 2000 and freaking 1999, 2000, freaking 2020, you just whinge about it, and get your phone out and my rights and this and that and all that. But anyway, okay guys, I'm just whinging now. David Hughes, I think most of us agree about how our cops and military are used by the government on behalf of those with wealth and power. Yeah, it's late for me, I must go. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for your advice and have a nice time. Thanks, Mike. Let us know what martial arts you do, buddy. Oh, hold on. David Hughes says, as a veteran, I can say I never used to think this way. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Dave, for your service. Veteran there. As a veteran. Legend. All right, guys. Well, look, thank you. It's been a pleasure. You guys are giving me something to do. Having a bit of a rough time in other things in life. I won't bore you guys with the details, but been having a bit of a rough time in life recently. Do have a beautiful son who's born. He's 6 months old. So you guys know it's a bit difficult dealing with that. But yeah, been having a rough time with other stuff, and I guess the years of the work are kind of getting to me a little bit. You see a lot of bad things. You're always Dave will know this, you're just always in conflict, and you get tired of it, like I just get tired of it, you're always like, you're always, nothing's ever easy, like when you're a cop, usually. So Dave will know, obviously, from being a bouncer. It's like, Dave, sometimes you go to work, especially for a bouncer, and you're just like, mate, I feel like crap, I'm tired, haven't had sleep, the baby's kept me awake. But even before that, the other day you scraped some poor bastard off the road, or you had to get some drowned baby from a pool, and you're just standing there. You're just trying to survive like everyone else. You're just trying to freaking survive, and you get to some job, and there's some banshee screaming over there in the distance. And people are swearing and cursing, and you're just there like, and people are freaking at you, you know, calling you freaking dogs and cunts and this and that, and you're just standing there like, you just like, there's two reactions. You're just like, ah. But part of you is just like, there's not enough headbutts that I could give all these people around me right now. I don't have enough headbutts. I couldn't physically headbutt fast enough. And you just, yeah, it just kind of grates at you a little. Yeah, you know. And then, yeah, Dave, we meet people not at their best, yeah. And then Dave will know this, I mean, a little bit personal, but Dave, some of you might know this, or some of you combat veterans or something. But for myself, to a lesser extent than you guys. But you know, you might be eating your food or something like that. You know, you're sitting down eating your food with your kid or whatever, and you just freaking see a face of some person who was smashed up on the road, or someone, some other horrible thing that you've seen, some bloated corpse, you know, and you just like, you know, it just flashes into your eyes like in the films, you know, or a smell or a sound, or, you know, and, you know, sometimes it's a bit tough, you know, just to carry on, you know, like, I don't mean carry on as in carry on, you know, with life. I just mean carry on, you know, just like, oh, you know, shit. And these things never go away. I was talking to one of my mates the other day who happens to be a combat veteran from Afghanistan, and he was saying the same thing. He was just like, you carry the faces of the people who you've had to scrape up. You carry those faces with you, you know, because that guy's actually had to kill people in warfare, and he was saying as well, like, man, the other day I had to deal with this sudden death and that sudden death, and he's like, I see that face now, you know. David Hughes says it's tough. I found Richard Grannon's course will help you with this retrained trauma. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I might write it down on my computer. But, you know, like over 12 years, I mean, I know there's people who've been cops for way longer, and also the poor American cops, so hard on you guys. You know, I can't imagine having to police in a, probable cause situation, you know, where everyone might have a gun. You know, it's hard enough when you're dealing with someone, you're like, well, do they have a weapon? But, you know, when everyone's armed, not going into the cop talk, but I don't blame the American cops for being the way they are, because how do you be any other way when everyone's got a gun? And then you see videos like where that highway patrolman goes to the side of that truck, and he's being nice to the guy. He's like, hey, sir, how you doing? Yeah, I'm just checking and blah, blah, blah. And then he walks around, oh, can you just get out? And the guy's like, oh, yeah, I've got a gun. Okay, sir. Well, you just come around. The guy gets out the passenger door and just nails him with an AR-15. You know, freaking hell. You know, like, it's crazy. But yeah. Anyway, sorry guys, I don't know how I got onto that tangent, but yeah. So there we go. That's another aspect of self-defense: surviving the things that we all have to endure just in life anyway. Controlling our emotions, I guess, to the best of our ability. I don't know how you do that. Not getting rage, not getting anger, not getting post-traumatic trauma. Jobo says, Dave says, don't be sorry, you helped me. Any chance of a new career, says Jobo 1983. Mate, I dream of a new career. But, you know, I've got a son now, and I've got my missus, she's looking after my son. And yeah, you know, I'm the only earner for the family, so, you know. But I must say, you know, on a tangent, because no one's listening other than you guys. But on a tangent, I must say, and a thanks to the Patreon guys, and also the guys who've had a look at the Iron Body Martial Arts Iron Hand course. You know, I don't like to say it often, but I do like to say it, but I have said to the Patreon guys before, like literally the Patreon guys and the Iron Body Martial Arts Iron Hand course guys who are in there, you know, purchasing the course, you know, they have helped me pay bills. Those people, you know, they've literally been an extra bit of, you know, they don't give me money. Don't get me wrong, but obviously Patreon people support your Patreon. So people supporting Patreon and the little bit you get from that, and some of a little bit, and it's always not a lot because, you know, you don't get anything from this online stuff. But those little bits have really helped. So I always say thank you to those guys who've whether they're no longer on the Patreon or they're on it now. Because it's like me. It's sometimes I'm here, sometimes I'm not, sometimes I'm here. So it's not the greatest Patreon in the world, but yeah, thanks to the guys there's some guys who've been on there for ages supporting it. And the Iron Body Martial Arts Iron Hand course has got a lot of good reviews from people who've been on it. It's a little bit expensive, I know. I'm gonna do a discount on it. I wanna do a discount on it for people of the channel, like half price or something. But I keep waiting. Someone will buy it and then I feel bad, so I have to wait, and I just keep waiting. So, but I'll sort something out. Anyway. Yeah. Joe says I'd probably be a good personal trainer. Yuri says, have you ever thought about going into web development? Yeah, good things. Good things. I'm not very good on the computers, so I'm not sure about web development. But yeah, there's plenty of ideas out there, guys. But for now, like you guys, I just have to survive what I'm doing, which is, yeah, I'm good at surviving what I'm doing. It's not that deadly or anything, so don't get me wrong. But yeah, we all have to survive the daily shit that we have to do, don't we? You know, and try and find what was that? Try and find our little bit of peace in our training or something else in life or something like that. So that's good. Excellent. Dave says you have a great niche. I would love to see you grow this. Yeah, mate, I'm trying, and I will when I can get some time to put more time into it. Actually, me and my little brother, who you see from time to time, is looking to cover some of the bare knuckle stuff, the bare knuckle fighting channels and the fighting championship that they've got. And also I was looking into the karate combat as well, because my brother follows the karate combat. It's getting quite big. You can watch all the events for free, and it's getting pretty cool. They're updating it. It's kind of, you know, an interesting take on things. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot. You guys keep well. And I might leave this video out on YouTube for a little bit. I mean, you guys have seen it, and then I'll probably push it down to Patreon for a while or something, just because we started talking a bit more in depth about other things, you know. So, but anyway, look, thanks a lot, guys. I hope your training goes well. Please, you know, let me know how your training's going. I don't know how you can talk to people anymore on this YouTube, but you know, there is a comment section on the channel buried somewhere, or just come on one of my videos and chuck a comment like how you're doing, how your training's going. I'll have a look at Social Blade from Lord CloudX. But yeah, cool guys. And Dave, thank you very much, mate. And yeah, I'll go and get some sleep now. It's like 4:20 in the morning, but it was great to chat to you guys. I haven't got to do it in a while, so it was cool to chat to you guys. Yuri Boyko, thanks for coming in, mate, and it was good to see you. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed, of course, and give it a thumbs up, because that helps the thing, albeit probably this video is like, you know, not very appealable to everyone else. P4P Taramitsu, goodbye champ, have a good morning. Yeah, thanks mate, and good luck with your MMA training and stuff. You know, I'm sure I wouldn't probably want to fight you. You know, MMA guys are tough. You know, as in the fight gym I was in, there was a lot of good guys in there. Yeah, and us slightly older traditional martial arts tricksters can get the odd trick in here and there, but you know, you can soon figure us out. You know, and he does. Oh, it does boxing. Okay, boxing's awesome. Yeah, man, boxing and the combos, man. The combos on those the pad work. The combo pad works awesome. I've never been, like, you can hold pads up in front of me and get me to punch them and I'll hit them in every way. But if you give me a pad combo, I've got a mate here who does Thai, and when I went to the fight club I was going to, I was trying to learn the combos a bit better. But yeah, you can put any kind of pads up and I'll hit them. But then you get me to try and remember a set of combos, and I'm terrible at it, you know. But yeah, I've gotten a lot better because obviously I was doing it, but still, you know, I feel a bit bad because I'm like, man, I've been doing martial arts for years, and I, you know, I'm not that great at those combo pads, you know. But oh well, it's just so respect to you guys. Boxing, and also boxing circuits, man. I remember a couple of years ago I did a boxing circuit before I really probably knew what proper cardio was, and man, it destroyed me. You know, I'd been doing traditional martial arts and jiu-jitsu and my kung fu, but obviously I wasn't training my endurance enough properly, because man, I did that boxing circuit and I was destroyed. I was like dying. So, you know, it was awesome, you know. Yeah, so now I know. Yeah, now I know. I learned that day. Okay, guys, Jesus, I keep saying I'm going to go, but yeah, now I actually have to go. I might as well have breakfast before I go to bed. In fact, you know what? I might wait half an hour, then have breakfast, and then go to bed, because it's 4:30 in the morning. And if my wife finds out, she's away at the moment, but if my wife finds out I stayed up till 4:30 in the morning, I'll get in trouble. Yeah. When you're a kid, you get in trouble from your parents. And then when you're a bit older, you just get in trouble from your wife or partner or whatever. And if you're really clever, then you're just single and you just have the best life ever. No, I'm joking, but yes, you do. No, you don't. It's funny. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Thanks for joining me, and I will catch you guys around. Stay safe, everyone out there. Happy and good training. I will give you a small kung fu salute as I bugger off now. Okay, cool. Bunch of legends.